Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right when it comes to manifestation? You're healing, you're visualizing, you're saying affirmations. You're trying to be the best version of you who already has what you want, and yet nothing seems to manifest. Maybe you have manifested small things, but you struggle with your bigger desires and dreams, or you find yourself in cycles of doubt, frustration, or feeling stuck, or just like something is missing. In this episode, we're gonna talk about manifestation, everybody's favorite topic, and dive deep, because I'm gonna say some shit that's probably gonna make a lot of people uncomfortable because it goes against very widely held beliefs, very universally shared beliefs about manifestation that are actually misconceptions and extremely disempowering. And that's why so many people struggle to manifest, when in essence, experiencing the life that we want should not be a struggle. If you've been listening to my show, you know that I am fundamentally anti-struggle. And so many people struggle to quote unquote manifest, including myself, for a very long time. And again, no one needs to struggle. You don't need to struggle to heal. You don't need to struggle to succeed. You don't need to struggle to experience what you want and what you deserve in life. So I'm here in this episode to help you stop struggling and actualizing and experiencing what it is that you want and deserve, because we've been conditioned to believe in a lot of false truths and distortions of the true nature of reality. And it's time to wake the fuck up, essentially, because it's all so very disempowering. And I fell into this trap. I was there with you for a long time, but my eyes are wide open now, friend, and I can see clearly. And we don't need to be going through all of that struggle. Welcome to The Simple Source, your source for all things self-love, self-healing, personal growth, and spirituality. I'm your host, Linda Valines. I used to be chronically sick and unhappy. I spent years trying anything and everything to heal, but I never got better. It wasn't until my late husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer that I finally stopped searching for the answers outside of myself and turned within. I taught myself how to truly love and heal myself, how to finally be authentically healthy and happy, mind, body, and soul. I have over 10 years of personal and professional self-healing and teaching experience. I'm a trauma-informed, certified holistic health and wellness coach, certified Ayurveda counselor, and author. I healed myself of a lifetime of complex traumas and chronic conditions with joy and ease. Now I'm teaching you to do the same. So if you're ready to heal and love yourself more, mind, body, and soul, without all the struggle and stress, and with more joy and productivity, join me to liberate your highest, healthiest, and happiest self and learn how to thrive more simply. Let's get started with today's episode. So I'm just going to get started because there's a lot that I want to cover, and we don't have 24 hours. So I'll just start with the most basic fundamental truth bomb. We're going to dive right in. Manifestation, as it's commonly taught, is actually a distortion of the true nature of reality. It's an illusion. It's a misconception. The entire framework of quote unquote attracting and quote unquote magnetizing things in your life is a distortion of how reality actually works. And that notion that you have to attract, that you have to magnetize something to you, is actually rooted in the illusion of separation that is so conditioned into society, into culture, into academia, into religion. It's just conditioned everywhere. That illusion of separation, that you are not actually part of what you want, is why you struggle to quote unquote manifest. That's why it's taken you so long, why it's been difficult, why your efforts have been very inconsistent and unsatisfying, because you're operating from an illusion of separation. The truth is The truth is, you have nothing to manifest. There's nothing to manifest. What you've been doing is you've been trying to push open a locked door with all of your strength, with all of your force. You put your weight, all of your weight into that door. And yet the whole time, the key was in your pocket. You never needed to force that door open. You just needed to use a key that you already had and step through the door. So let me elaborate. This episode is going to completely shift the way that you see reality creation. That's what's really happening. And again, because you're not manifesting anything, there is no separation between you and the life that you want and the things that you want. I'm going to break all of this down, why so many people do not, quote unquote, manifest, despite utilizing various manifestation methods, why the traditional model is conceptually flawed, and what is actually happening behind the scenes in the quantum field. Meaning, I'm going to explain the true nature of reality so that you understand why believing in the illusion of manifestation has actually prevented you from realizing and experiencing your desires and your dreams. So if you've ever felt like something about manifestation just wasn't clicking for you, this episode is going to be a massive aha moment. I've had a massive aha moment in the past couple of weeks, and so I'm going to share all of it with you. So now let's just get into how to stop getting tripped up by all of this manifestation hoo-ha and how to finally actually shift your reality with ease, with confidence, and with joy. Firstly, I'm just going to say it outright. I'm not going to use the word manifestation or manifest for the remainder of the episode because it's not a reflection of the true nature of reality. And how it's understood, how it has been popularized now is actually very disempowering. You are a creator of your reality. You are a complete sovereign being who does not need to attract or magnetize anything. You are everything you desire. So I'm going to speak to you as such. I'm not going to feed into the illusion that makes you feel or makes you believe that you are less powerful than you actually are. So I'm not going to say manifestation or manifest for the rest of the episode, and I have made that commitment in my personal life as well, because it is such a misconception and distortion of the true nature of reality, and it is very disempowering. If you just stay tuned, you're going to find out why. So I'm going to start with one of the most fundamental reasons that people have difficulty changing their realities, and it's because they are not healing. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're trying to achieve their dreams, actualize a different reality or future for themselves, is they're neglecting to do the deep fundamental healing. You cannot override deep subconscious wounds with surface level affirmations if you are not A, in command of your subconscious, B, living in full sovereignty, mind, body, and soul. And unfortunately, most people are not. Most people are operating from energetic discordance, meaning your energy is not in harmony. You are not in harmony with yourself. You're not in command of your mind, conscious mind, subconscious mind, or higher conscious mind. And you're just saying things and hoping that those affirmations are going to change your reality. And you know what? There is truth in that, but most people, I'm going to get into more of this later, but most people don't even believe the words that are coming out of their mouth, and they expect them to magically change their reality. So how you do that, how you get your words to actually be profoundly impactful in your reality, is you have to heal why you don't think your voice matters in the first place. You have to heal why you feel disempowered in the first place. You have to heal all the wounds, all the limiting beliefs and perceptions that you have about yourself that make you feel small, that make you feel separate from the things that you want and you deserve in life. So a lot of people use those surface level spiritual bypassing methods and practices to try to change their reality without actually changing themselves. And we'll get into this later, but your reality is just a reflection of who you are. And if you're not changing, it doesn't matter what you say, your reality is just going to reflect back to you. And also another thing is that people compartmentalize. If they are on a healing journey of some sort, they're not prioritizing their healing, which means they're not really integrating their healing in a way that's creating like energetic, true coherence and harmony. That means your energy is not consistently resonating in a healing way, because maybe you do a healing practice for half hour once a week, and then the rest of the time you're suppressing your emotions, you're afraid to feel, you're ignoring your inner child, you're judging yourself, you're shaming yourself. So healing is like so fundamental to your ability to change your reality, because your reality is just a reflection of who you are. And if you do not change, if you do not evolve, if you do not resolve your wounds are just going to be reflected back to you in your reality. And because people are not healing, they're not prioritizing their healing, they're not healing in a productive and authentic way, so many people have suppressed emotions. They have an unhealthy relationship with their emotions. And so there's a lot of emotional stagnation and discordance in them, which means there's a lot of dense energies because of unreleased heavy emotions from unresolved experiences and traumas and fear. And all of that keeps you anchored into a lower dense reality or timeline, because regardless of how much you're trying to change your reality with certain practices and techniques, like your energy has not fundamentally changed. And a big part of this too is people don't grieve. People suppress the grieving process because people have a lot of misconceptions about grieving. I actually did a whole entire episode about how powerful grieving is, how transformational it is. And so that's a big part of the healing process that people not only undervalue, but they don't invest in. And so what happens is, because you have all of these suppressed, denied emotions and unresolved traumas because you haven't been prioritizing your healing, you're showing up in your life as your wounded false self. And that means you're disconnected from your authentic self. If you're showing up in your life as your wounded false self, then your reality is just going to reflect your wounding. And if you're disconnected from your authentic self, because again, you haven't prioritized releasing your emotions, resolving your fears and traumas, and developing a healthy relationship with yourself, you're not connected to your authentic self. You're just thinking and feeling and behaving as your wounded false self. I also did a whole other episode about how to discern your wounded false self from your authentic true self. And so I highly recommend going back to the beginning of my show and getting all the basics in check. So another reason that people struggle to change their reality is not only are they not prioritizing their healing, but they're not healing holistically. And so they may think that talk therapy is like how you heal. And so they're just doing a lot of cognitive processing, or they're doing inner child work, which is great, but they're not doing any somatic healing practices. They're not releasing energy from their physical body. Like trauma is not just a mental thing. It is stored, literally stored in your body. So that's another huge reason that people have difficulty changing their reality, which is essentially just a reflection of you, because you're still holding on. Physically, your body has trauma. Trauma is a very dense energy. So that means that if you have a lot of stored trauma in your body, your entire energetic field is affected by that. And you're going to understand why that's important later. You know, nothing in my life has transformed my life and has created more holistic and positive and life improving transformations than my healing. Like my outer reality has been a direct reflection of my healing journey. That is fact. Healing is how you release, genuinely release, not bypass, genuinely release lower dense energies of suppressed emotions, unresolved traumas, limiting beliefs, limiting perceptions, wounded narratives that literally trap you in lower dense realities, i.e. timelines, where you do not have what you want because you're projecting wounded beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm lacking, I'm unlovable, it's not safe to receive love, the world isn't safe, etc. So that's what you're projecting, and that's what your reality is just feeding back to you. If you don't love yourself, you're going to see that in your reality. And so you love yourself by healing yourself. And the whole journey of healing is really about you coming back to yourself, you learning how to love yourself unconditionally, you reconnecting with your whole authentic self, you reconnecting with your highest self, you remembering your highest truths and reclaiming your wholeness by liberating yourself from the pains of your past. And yes, all of that stuff that anchors you into those lower dense timelines, because all of that is energy. Everything is energy. The wounds that you are avoiding, the limiting beliefs that you have unchallenged, the false narratives that you are incapable, that you are small, that you don't deserve to be seen, that is energy. Energy that not only exists in your psyche, but exists in your body. So healing is so fundamental. And not just on a surface level, but healing that genuinely, again, reconnects you to your authentic and highest self, to your divinity, to your sovereignty. So that absolutely includes trauma resolution, nervous system recalibration, inner child work, outer child work, shadow work. Most importantly, unconditional self-love. That's foundational. And all the things that I listed may seem like a lot, but if you listen to my previous episode, you understand that all of that can be very easily and joyfully integrated into your life. Healing doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll say this until my face turns blue, because it goes against a very common narrative that it is, a disempowering narrative that it is. But healing is fundamentally, by definition, you reclaiming your wholeness, your well-being, your freedom. Those are joyful experiences. And so people misunderstand what healing is, and then so people just bypass it. And a lot of the spiritual community bypasses it. But what you're doing when you're spiritually bypassed and you live by that mantra of like high vibe only, think positive, and you avoid your emotions, you avoid your traumas, you avoid your inner child, you avoid doing shadow work, you just reinforce that illusion of separation, that there are parts of you that are good and parts of you that are bad. You enforce emotional suppression by trying to be positive, by trying to be neutral, right? I'm just going to be neutral to this, and yet you are genuinely emotionally activated. And if you're genuinely emotionally activated and you're like, nope, not going to feel it, just going to be neutral, that's emotional suppression, which means there's an unhealed wound, unhealed aspect, unseen, unloved aspect of you that needs to be validated, that needs to be honored and healed and released. And all of that means that you're not living in your authenticity. So then that means that you are not in resonance with your highest and truest self. And so then there's no way that your reality is going to change, because what you are emitting is disharmony with yourself. Because again, you're operating from that illusion that there are parts of you that are acceptable and parts of you that are unacceptable. And then you hide all those other parts that you think are bad. And all of that suppression, all of that self-shaming, self-judgment, compartmentalizing yourself through that illusion of separation causes energetic dissonance, because you are not an integrated being. You are not operating in your wholeness. There's no genuine coherence between your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, your higher conscious mind, between your mind, between your body, between your soul, because you're ignoring your subconscious, right? Which is where all of those unresolved, unhealed wounds are. You're just trying to use your conscious mind to stay positive, even though it's forced, right? Forced neutrality, forced positivity, which again means that you are not living authentically. You're not living from your wholeness. That means you're totally disconnected from your higher consciousness, because you're not in your total truth. You are in disharmony from yourself. That means you're not a clear channel for your highest self. And suppressing unprocessed emotions and avoiding shadow work and resolving your traumas just keeps you anchored in those lower dense timelines and prevents you from shifting into a reality where you have what you want. Because when you heal, you release all of that shit that is causing you to be anchored in lower dense energy. Then your subconscious mind is free. Then it stops projecting your wounds into your realities. Then your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and higher conscious mind are actually in alignment. That's coherence. That is what allows you to shift realities easily and seamlessly and instantly. And so many people often stay locked into cycles of struggle and limitation because of their subconscious programming, because of distorted beliefs that never get fully released, because they're just avoiding acknowledging and healing the experiences that feel heavy or emotional. And so all of those subconscious narratives where you feel powerless, where you feel like a victim in your life, where you have low self-worth, where you don't trust yourself, where you don't love yourself. All of that affects your ability to shift your reality because those are all very dense energies. Those are energies of fear. Those are energies of shame. Those are energies of disempowerment. And so you cannot change your reality if your subconscious mind is projecting those narratives. Because one of the keys, and we'll get into this more later, but one of the keys of shifting your reality is you have to be certain of what you want. You have to be certain of the reality that you desire, that you deserve. And a lot of people try to change their reality by hoping, by wishing. I hope that this changes. I want this. But they don't feel certain that A, they deserve it. They don't feel certain that B, they're even capable of handling that new level, new experience, new success, new relationship. And a lot of people don't even have confidence in themselves, let alone the universe. And those subconscious narratives, they reinforce that you don't feel heard. So when you proclaim that you want something to the universe, by writing it down, by saying an affirmation, you don't even trust that the universe is going to hear you. Do you see where I'm going here? This is why it is so fundamental to prioritize your healing, prioritize that relationship with yourself. That's what healing is. You're just coming home to yourself. You're literally reclaiming your whole self. You're freeing your whole self. You're reclaiming your genuine well-being. And you can't do that when you're still operating from beliefs of smallness, of powerlessness, that no one hears you, no one sees you. Because when you try to ask for what you want from the universe, you're operating from those energies and beliefs and perceptions. And then you think that you're just magically going to get what you want, even though you're not even secure in yourself in the asking or even in the receiving. And so those are all major subconscious energies that if you do not address, that if you do not heal and resolve, they're always going to be the dominant aspects of your energy field because you have been living with them your whole life. And you've never released them in an authentic and healthy way. And this takes me to my next point about why so many people struggle to change their realities is people have a fundamental misunderstanding about what abundance is. And this was me for my entire life. And I've just now had a massive aha breakthrough. And I am actually going to do another episode on this because it is no one talks about this. This is why I've never realized this until recently. But abundance is not something that you attract. It's not something you magnetize. It's something that you remember about your true nature. It's you reconnecting with who you truly are. It's your alignment with your divinity. Because so many people are like, yeah, abundance is in you all the time. And like nobody really explains that, you're already whole. And so you're abundant. And like, yes, that's true, but they're missing something so fundamental, which is we're all here on earth. If you're watching this, you're probably human. So you're in a body. You have agreed to exist in 3D, at least partially. For most people, it's like fully. But you've agreed to be human, and being human comes with childhood trauma. So if you struggle with abundance in any part of your life, it's because you struggle to feel connected to love due to a lack of early childhood attunement, meaning you were emotionally, physically, mentally abandoned in some way, and or your caretakers were not consistently available to you. They did not demonstrate unconditional love to you 24/7. They did not demonstrate to you that you could fully trust that they would always be there for you. That's childhood attunement. And like so many of us experience that lack of healthy attunement in early childhood. So then what happens when you don't have that healthy, consistent attunement in your early childhood, meaning like 0 to 7, like when your subconscious was primary, and all of that programming, all of those beliefs and perceptions were formed, then you start to believe that you are disconnected from love. You are alone. Abundance is fundamentally source, energy. I mean, that's what it is fundamentally, because everything is made from source, including money, including success, which entails a series of events or whatever, all the relationships in your career, all the people that are involved. I mean, every single aspect of everything is just made from source. So that is what abundance is. So if you didn't feel like unconditional love, which is what source energy is, it's not conditional love, it's unconditional love. If you did not feel like unconditional love was readily available to you as a child, that was me, then you have deep beliefs and subconscious programming that you are disconnected from love, not worthy of love, unconditional love, which is abundance, because abundance is just source energy. And so you don't struggle with experiencing or receiving or having more money in your life. You struggle with feeling connected to love. You struggle feeling connected to safety and receiving. The issue is that you do not feel connected on a core level. You feel alone. You feel abandoned. And so, of course, you do not feel abundant. So then your reality is not going to reflect abundance back to you because you feel disconnected from unconditional love on a fundamental core level. That's why the same kinds of disempowering experiences of lack are a constant in your life, despite you, quote unquote, doing the work, you, quote unquote, healing or learning how to budget, etc. It's because fundamentally what abundance is source. Everything is made of source. And if you did not have that essential nurturance, attunement at the start of your life where you felt unconditional love was readily available to you, that you were always connected to unconditional love, then of course you're not going to feel abundant later in your life. And again, I'm going to do a whole episode about that because it's so huge. It's been such one of the most incredible aha moments that I've had in my life. And nobody talks about abundance this way. And it's so obvious to me because I've been there too, struggled my whole life with abundance and living consciously, unconsciously, and lack and scarcity, despite so much healing, despite so many practices and techniques. And now I get it. I finally get it. And it's a huge liberation. So stay tuned for that episode. Now, let's talk about why manifestation is an illusion, the way that people perceive it. And here's when we're going to dismantle all of those traditional manifestation models. So, okay, I said manifestation twice, all right? So forgive me. So most people try to manifest, but manifesting isn't real because it's actually a 3D illusion. It's a disempowering 3D illusion that is, again, built on the notion, the distortion of separation. So what people call, quote unquote, manifestation is actually timeline or reality shifting or alignment and quantum creation within the holographic structure of reality. And so that term, quote unquote, manifestation has been completely distorted to imply a linear process of attracting something over time, when in truth, what happens is when you experience something in your reality changing, something appears that you want, you actually just shifted into an existing version of reality in the quantum field, okay? That's actually what's happening. And so you're not pulling anything to you. You're not attracting anything to you. You're not like manifesting shit. You are literally just shifting from one timeline, one version of reality to a different version of reality where you have what you want. And if it takes quote unquote time, it just means that your shifting of realities to the reality that you have where you have what you want happened over many different realities. Like it was a gradual shifting, meaning you shifted slowly to a slightly different reality where you were kind of closer to what you want. Then you shifted to another reality where you were like a little more closer. And you just did that and you did that over time until you finally shifted. Your energy was actually fully coherent and aligned with a version of reality where you did have what you want. But you were never at any point in that magnetizing anything to you. So let that settle for a second. Yeah, so that's actually what's truly happening when we consider the true nature of reality. Because, and I'm going to get to this more in a second, but on this note, another myth about quote unquote manifestation is that the universe tests you. That's a load of BS. Okay. I believe this too. You guys, I was right there with you. I mean, I spent years in a program where this was like one of the most fundamental principles of what they taught. And I was like, yes, such a believer, total convert. And now my eyes are wide the fuck open. And I'm just like, wow, all of that is, with total respect to those people, I totally respect them. It's just not true at all. The universe is not in any way antagonistic. The universe does not test you. The universe does not make you wait to have what you want to see if you're truly in your worth. The universe does not disempower you that way. And also on that note, you are not blocked. You're not blocked by anything. I said this in another episode when I was talking about how our language creates and shapes our reality. And again, right there with you, bought all the noise, like would say that all the time. I say that in my program and I have to go and edit it. But it's such a common vernacular in the psychological community and people who quote unquote, manifest. But we're not blocked by anything. There's literally nothing in our way from what we want to experience in life. There are no obstacles. Our reality is just us. Our reality is purely a holographic projection of us. So when people are like, you're blocked from what you want, you have to overcome this block, or this is a healing block. It's a very disempowering narrative to share, to promote, because it essentially means that you have to overcome something. And it's, again, the struggle narrative, that illusion of separation where who I am is inherently separate from what it is that I want. And that is fundamentally untrue. Separation is such an illusion. And I bought all of this too, you guys. I was right there. It makes no sense from a spiritual perspective because the most basic fundamental spiritual truth is the truth of oneness. Everything is one. There is no disconnection. Connection is the most primary truth. So what it is that you want is part of you, within you, is you. So you're not blocked by anything. There are, however, yes, there are energies, there are emotions, there are beliefs, perceptions that are out of alignment with what you want, but you're not blocked by anything. Also, a huge disempowering narrative in that whole manifestation myth is that time is linear. That's the whole notion of the process of manifestation, right? When you say process it, you are innately implying that something's going to take time to develop. And that's what you're implying when you're telling someone you're attracting something to you, that you magnetizing them. That it all implies time is linear. It takes time to get what you want. It takes effort to get what you want. But the truth is, time is a construct. Time is not linear. Time is fluid. Time is malleable, and you are in control of how you experience time. And I'm going to do a whole episode about this because people are so imprisoned by the construct of time, by the notion of time, and it's all an illusion. And also, cause and effect is also a 3D construct. You are a multidimensional being, which means that your true self, your true reality is beyond 3D. You are not confined to just 3 dimensions. So that means that you are not bound by cause and effect, because that is a 3D construct. Beyond 3D, there is only now. Everything exists now. Everything happens simultaneously. So those are big parts of why that old why those commonly held quote unquote manifestation principles and teachings are so disempowering because they fundamentally anchor you in 3D when you are in fact a multidimensional being who exists beyond 3D. And I know that that's why so many people struggle to change their realities. And this is why I stopped subscribing to all of that popular mainstream manifestation stuff. And now I've never felt more liberated or empowered and clear. Because once I fully realized, wow, I've been in this program for years, and in the beginning, yeah, there was some magical, cool stuff that happened, and then it was just like crickets for years. And I'm like an A student, if you know what I mean. I'm like super Virgo. Like I do my homework. I'm a recovering perfectionist, recovering overachiever. So it wasn't like I wasn't doing their formula, following their quote unquote process. I mean, I was doing it every single day on top of my own healing. And yet I just was not manifesting, and it made no sense because healing is my expertise. And transformation is like, and personal growth is like a passion and joy of mine. So I should have been manifesting like a mofo. But I wasn't, and I get it now. It's because and it's not just them, it's like everybody that talks about manifestation. Again, we are not manifesting anything. And when it clicked for me, because I've been on a journey now of remembering my ascended mastery and my starseed origins, and I mean, my world is genuinely out of this world on a daily basis, and I'm remembering more and more. But when it hit me, I was like, why am I limiting? Why have I been following these very self-limiting concepts when time is non-linear, cause and effect is just a construct of 3D? I don't manifest anything. I'm shifting realities instantly. I mean, I've lost count at this point, like probably over 10 times where I've shifted timelines in the last 6 weeks alone. And not just in a way where like I woke up and I was like, yeah, I feel better. No, like, shit has changed in my life, like digitally, astrological charts have changed, and not just like prognostic charts, like my natal charts have changed, not just once, but more than once. Like shit has changed. And none of this occurred when I was following that self-limiting notion that I have to attract something to me. I have to magnetize something to me. When I shifted timelines, it was instantaneous because that is how it works. And I'm going to get into this now and explain to you the true nature of reality so that you also have an aha moment where you can understand that you are not attracting anything in your life. This is not how reality works. Reality is a hologram. And so we're going to now talk about the science of quantum creation and reality alignment. So everything exists in the quantum field. Everything already exists in the quantum field. All potential realities, all potential outcomes, all experiences already exist simultaneously as encoded information within the quantum field. So when a reality changes, you're not attracting something from nothing. You're not creating something from nothing. What is happening is you're actually shifting to aligning with a version of reality, a potentiality that already exists. Because again, the quantum truth is, and everything is quantum because that's the fundamental building block of existence, everything already exists. So there is actually no gap between you and what you desire. There's no gap. There's no separation. That's just an illusion created by a distortion, a misunderstanding of frequency and the true nature of reality. So reality is a holographic projection of consciousness. Okay, it's structured. So what you see as structure is actually a fractalized, multi-dimensional information field. When I say fractal, it means patterns, fractal shapes. Please look it up because we don't have 24 hours, but. Sacred geometry as example, I'm wearing a flower of life. This is a fractal design. So that's what reality is, right? A holographic projection of consciousness that's structured as a fractalized, multidimensional information field, where the whole is contained within every single part. We live in a holographic universe. Your reality is a hologram. And like a hologram, every point in space-time is encoded with the entire universe, meaning that what we perceive as physical reality is just a projection from a higher dimensional frequency field, meaning your highest self. So then your consciousness acts as both the projector and the observer. So you, the projector, your highest self, and you, the observer, your human self. So your consciousness shapes your version of reality and your experiences based on your frequency alignment. It's that simple. So holographic universe and quantum mechanics are the true nature of reality, and why through holographic principles and quantum principles like superposition, the observer effect, entanglement, why all of that means that all possibilities exist simultaneously within the holographic field, within the quantum field, and available to you. You're a quantum being. You're like not only multidimensional, but you're quantum in nature. So you're not manifesting shit. You are aligning with one out of all possible realities based on your resonance. And that alignment is instantaneous. Resonance is instantaneous. Like you don't have to tell energies that are resonant to like resonate. You know, it's just like a natural function of resonance, and that resonance is instantaneous. Energy is not waiting for homeboy to like get his shit together and then resonate. That happens instantaneously. So your reality shifts are instantaneous. However, they're based on your frequency, not based on time. Because again, time is just a 3D construct, and reality exists beyond 3D. So reality and timeline shifts happen instantaneously based on your overall resonance, your overall energetic frequency. So when your energetic frequency, when your resonance shifts, your reality automatically and immediately shifts with it, because that is how energy resonance works. You are not attracting anything. You're not manifesting anything. The only thing that determines how quickly you shift into a different reality, okay, so let's be more specific. The only thing that determines how quickly you shift into a higher reality, meaning a reality where you have what you want, is A, your level of certainty of you having what you want, B, your overall resonance, and C, your emotional embodiment of that reality. Okay, those are three fundamental things. You have to be certain that you have what you want. You have to be resonant with what you want, and you have to be emotionally aligned with what you want. So in other words, reality is a consciousness generated holographic projection that operates based on quantum and multidimensional principles. That means your reality is not fixed. Your reality is also not like this external thing from you that you don't have control over. Your reality is malleable because it is a frequency-based simulation where your consciousness determines the projection or the reality that you experience. So it is essentially your energy resonance and how that aligns with the resonant reality that determines the reality that you interact with. Again, all realities, which are timelines, because there's a trajectory, all realities, all timelines, all experiences exist simultaneously in the quantum field, which fundamentally means that you have everything all at once. But your experience of having it is not about time. It's not about effort. It's actually not about cause and effect. It's about your observation. It's about your alignment. It's about your resonance. So now I'm going to give you some simple steps. These are just really basic steps to begin shifting into a higher reality that I've explained all of that, and hopefully help you change your reality in a more productive and more empowering way. So the first thing is you have to feel your feelings. I went over this in the beginning where I really, really honed it in hard about healing. But you have to feel your feelings. Your emotions are like the most loud signal, energetic signal in your human construct. You have to feel your feelings. You have to grieve what needs to be grieved. Your emotions are a massive part of your energy field, and they do have a primary influence over your resonance. The reason that I shift timelines so rapidly and so dramatically and instantaneously, like there's no lag. It's been shocking how immediate my timeline shifts have been. But I shift this way, and in a way that produces measurable results. And it's not just like me waking up like, oh, I feel lighter today. Like my physical reality changes in tremendous and illogical and magical ways is because I feel. Basically, every day I practice emotional release. So emotional energy is not stuck in my body, in my field, bringing my resonance down or distorting my energy field. I release shit. When an emotion comes up, I feel it. If I'm not emotional that day, I know that I have literally decades of suppressed emotions because my childhood was very emotionally abusive and toxic, and I was not taught emotional health. And emotional suppression was one of my primary coping mechanisms. So I have decades of emotional stagnation, and I release that shit. I'm not trying to hold on to anything that's keeping me down. So if you want to shift your reality, you have to feel your feelings. You have to grieve. You have to clear that energy, and not in a way that is artificial, but in a real way. You're allowing your body to release massive energy. That's a liberation. Like, that's awesome. I did a whole episode about emotional health and how to feel. So I recommend listening to that. Also, if you want to shift your reality, you have to shift your identity. I also did a podcast episode about this too, but your external world reflects your identity. That's just how it works, because your identity is fundamentally a construct of your beliefs and your perceptions about yourself, which is all from your subconscious. What you believe you are, who you believe you are, is just what your reality is going to reflect back to you. So if you believe that you are powerless, if you believe that you are unlovable, if you identify as someone who always has to struggle in life, then that is what your reality is going to mirror back to you. So you have to determine who you want to be, and then determine what needs to be acknowledged, what needs to be healed in order for you to embody that person, that identity authentically and confidently, not in a feigned, pretend way. Because again, you cannot pretend energy away. This is about authentic embodiment. This is not about spiritual bypassing. You have to determine who you want to be, and then determine, why am I out of alignment with that person? What needs to be seen? What needs to be validated? What needs to be felt? What needs to be healed? What needs to be released? So that you can embody that person, your true self, your highest self, authentically and confidently, without emotional, energetic distortion. And you also have to change your perceptions. You have to release limiting beliefs that contradict the truth that you are limitless, that you are a creator, that you are a total sovereign being of your reality. And this means that you have to acknowledge that there are influences in your life, influences on this planet, built into this planet's matrix, that are designed to disempower you, that are designed to feed you fear, that are designed to keep you trapped in a illusion of separation, where you believe in struggle, where you believe struggle is necessary in life. You have to acknowledge those influences in order to disown them, because you cannot disown something that you do not own in the first place. So this has actually been huge for me, and I'm going to do another episode about this, but what a liberation it is, because so many people deny that, or they have an idea of it, but they don't fully take a moment to acknowledge those influences. And when you do, and you recognize it for what it is, only then can you be free of it and reclaim your total sovereignty. So you have to consciously release yourself from those influences, because they are the reason that quote unquote manifestation even exists as a concept in the first place. It's a distortion of the true nature of reality. And so you have to choose to wake up. You have to choose to open your eyes, to open your mind, your heart, your soul to your true sovereign multidimensionality, to your sovereign divinity, to your limitless nature, and free yourself. And in order to change your reality, you have to connect with and you have to learn how to embody your highest self. Not for half an hour a day when you meditate, but all day, every day. That's who you really are. That's your whole true authentic self embodied as a human is your highest self. And so that requires you to know who your authentic self is, who and what your highest self is, in order to be able to discern between your wounded false self identities, those outdated narratives, who those outdated disempowering narratives belong to, and who and what your true self is and what your highest truths are. And that means you have to start living consciously in the present moment so that you can show up for yourself and for your life with total authenticity, with unconditional self-love, with complete empowerment. And you also have to stop focusing on what you don't have and what you don't want, because you just reinforce what you don't want, which then just anchors you into a timeline where you don't have what you want. This isn't bypassing where it's like just avoid. This is reconditioning yourself to stop focusing on the problem, to stop complaining, to stop comparing, and to start focusing your energy on what is actually aligned with your healing, what's aligned with your empowerment, what's aligned with your highest self and highest path and highest timeline. If you do all of those things, you're going to start shifting your reality in a major way, because those are all fundamental to your coherence, your energetic coherence, your resonance, your certainty that you already are what you want, and your emotional clarity. And then you're going to realize that this whole idea of attracting and magnetizing things to you is not only disempowering, but doesn't actually make a lot of sense when you start living as your highest self, when you start attuning to your limitlessness and start embodying your true sovereignty. Again, you're not manifesting anything. You're aligning is what is really happening. You are aligning holistically, mind, body, and soul, aligning with a more healed, more authentic, more empowered version of you. You're aligning with your highest self. You are aligning with your highest timeline. Manifestation is just timeline shifting and selection and reality creation. You're creating and you're aligning. You're not attracting anything to you. You don't manifest, you align. You don't attract, you become resonantly coherent. You do not wait for something to come to you. You recognize that you already are what you want. Everything you desire already exists. You are not working towards something. You're not magnetizing something into your life. You're simply living in a reality that is aligned with your resonance. So if your resonance is rooted in unresolved traumas, unprocessed feelings, unreleased fears, shame, guilt, self-limiting perceptions and beliefs, if that's what your resonance is rooted in, then that's the reality that you've aligned with. And again, your resonance as an embodied being, human on earth, is comprised of the collective state of your mind, your body, and your soul, because you are more than 3D. So when you want to change your reality or any part of your reality, which is, again, a total reality change in itself. It's you shifting to another timeline, even though it may not be drastic, you're still shifting to a new reality. You have to change your resonance so that you are in alignment with what you want, because here's the truth too. We're all shifting timelines like constantly. It happens constantly. Most of the time it's imperceptible because again, all possibilities, all realities exist. All of them, all the infinite possibilities exist simultaneously. And you're shifting timelines constantly because your resonance is shifting throughout the day. But it's so imperceptible. You are not noticing it unless you're me and your reality is like warping in a crazy, crazy, crazy way. But you're already doing it. You're already shifting timelines. But now, since you understand that that's actually the true nature of reality and you're not attracting anything to you, you're just aligning with a different reality based on your resonance. You can now be in command of your resonance, which means you can then select the reality that you want, which has everything that you want, which is actually everything within you right now. You don't need to wait for your resonance to change because you're in full control of it. There is no waiting in this process, okay? It all happens instantaneously. And when you understand that, you feel more empowered. You actually start to remember who and what you are. You get to choose. Now, that happens either consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously. Your entire reality, because your reality only exists because of you. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. Your reality only exists because of you. You are the dreamer. You are the projector. You are the consciousness that has created this reality. It doesn't exist without you. So you are in complete control of it. And here's another thing that's going to hopefully help you understand that you're not attracting anything to you. There's no linear time. Is just a convenient construct to experience contrast and structure in 3D. But outside of 3D, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. So that means that time moves through you. It also serves you. You do not move through time. So many people are disempowered about the concept of time. These are very key concepts here that are part of the traditional manifestation frameworks and methods that keep you so disempowered, that keep you from understanding how much command you have over your own experience. That you don't have to wait. You don't need to attract anything. You are. You just are. And when you are in command of your being, you meaning your resonance, mind, body, and soul, what your energy is, then you're in command of your reality. You're so much more powerful than you believe you are. So much more powerful. I'm actually developing my own reality creation, quantum alignment guidance system because we are so much more powerful than what these traditional manifestation principles have conditioned us to believe. And I fully understand that that's why so many people struggle to manifest, because it's a complete distortion of what's really happening, of what the true nature of reality is. It's like you trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. That's why I've released all of those concepts and perceptions and liberated myself from them and reclaimed and embodied more and more of my ascended mastery and highest purpose, because the fog has lifted. I can see clearly now. I'm remembering very clearly. All of the efforting, all of that illusion of separation is, again, so disempowering, and it's not in any way your truth. Earth's trajectory and destination is ascension. We are meant, humans, the earth, the planet, are meant to evolve beyond 3D reality and existence. And we do not evolve. Humans don't evolve by remaining dense, by conceding and not challenging these very limited 3D concepts, by continuing to subscribe to perceptions that keep you feeling small and disconnected and disempowered and veiled from your true nature and the true nature of reality. The time is now for collective ascension into 4D, into 5D. That time is literally now. And that means moving beyond 3D, quote unquote, manifestation, because that is what manifestation is. It's inherently a 3D principle, and truly embracing your complete sovereignty, your complete, limitless, multi-dimensional being that you are. So stay tuned, because I'm going to continue to help you unravel all of this, because there's so many gaps in what is being presented and taught in terms of not only healing, but personal empowerment and spirituality and creation. We are all so much more. We are all meant for so much more. And none of us have to struggle or wait to experience magic, to experience joy, or to experience the fulfillment of our highest truths and potential. And reality and the universe are literally designed to function for you. The universe is not antagonistic. It is not against you. It's designed to reflect back to you your complete divinity and limitlessness, because you are an eternal, limitless being, because you are an expression of source. You are the universe. And it's time that everyone remembers who and what we are. So here's your action step for the week. I want you to stop playing small. You are more than a 3-dimensional being. You are not limited by time. Time is fluid. Time is nonlinear. and it solely exists to serve your existence. So stop feeling like you have no control over what you want because you have to wait for it because of those false narratives that were designed to keep you stuck in fear and struggle. And I want you to start remembering who and what you truly are. So this week, to embody that truth that you are the God of your reality because it is true, I say that to myself every single day, not as an affirmation, but as a reminder, as a remembrance of my true nature. I want you to welcome that truth into your life. You are the God of your reality. Your reality only exists for you and through you. Allow that truth to permeate into your daily life. Allow yourself to feel what that feels like, to see your world through that lens, to experience your day through that perception. Without questioning it, without judging it, without doubting it, try to be fully open to that fact because you are not a product of your reality. You are the ultimate creator. Thank you so much for joining me today in The Simple Source. I hope this episode has inspired you, reminded you of your healing power, and reawakened you to who your true and highest self is. If the show has empowered and enlightened your self-love, growth, and healing journey, please share this episode, leave a positive review on Apple or Spotify, and subscribe to be reminded of new episodes. I am so grateful for your presence, and all of your comments and your support are seen and read and deeply appreciated. They really do help this show so much. Also, sign up for my newsletter, The Weekly Source, to get more healing tips, motivation stories, and to get to know me better. And if you haven't read my book, Unconditional, You Are Perfect As You Are, I invite you to get your copy today and start reading. And lastly, I would love to see you inside my Source membership, the only holistic and comprehensive step-by-step self-healing program that is proven to work. It's time to stop struggling to heal and time to learn how to thrive more simply and joyfully. All the links are in the show notes. Thanks again for joining me today, and I will see you next time.